Alright, so some scholar has managed to fuck up his village, so it's up to us to save the day, for which we're going to be just front-loading our folder with as many amazing cards as we can manage. So, we got plenty of Banshees, we got a couple of Cockatrice, we got some Dragon Knights, we got Crystal Roses, we got just the whole shebang, we got both Necromancers, just, our deck is looking pretty solid at this point in the game. I also threw in the Larval Fly, because that piece of crap is going to need some experience for something later, unless I get lucky.
Yeah, you got a lot of cards there.
Yeah, exactly 30, but no more. So, Gerd is actually going to be watching us through this mission. Also, the music for this level is really weird.
It's kind of
like, I'm not...
It's got like a free jazzy, not free jazz, but it's got like kind of a jazzy thing going, which seems odd for this game.
A little bit of a jazzy thing, yeah. It's really weird. There's no other track in the game like it. But we have to drop these herbs in lots of wells. So, you know, maybe this is what the herb mission from the Frozen Tundra was for before, but I'm thinking not. So we have to toss these herbs in wells, which are apparently spouting smoke all over the village, for which we're just going to have at it. Gerd is going to stay at the beginning of the level and somehow just know what we're doing. Oh, fairies, useful, given great advice like usual. This level is just filled with lots of good cards though, which is actually pretty helpful. There's going to be stuff like Treants, but we actually get one of my favorite cards in the game in this level, so it's pretty helpful. Also, random Wolfhowl. One of the things that's really notable about this level, though, is the fact that it's loaded with enemies that buff each other, which is never used again, but I actually sort of like the idea of. Like the fact that it distinguishes the white fog from the black fog for the purposes of this level, and while I don't think that it was necessarily something they had to do, I do think it's fairly clever.
So, in general, is it better than to, like... In general, it's probably better to just focus on one enemy to begin with, but do you want to target the enemies that are more buff-intensive?
It really, with this game, it's still just a matter of target closest thing until all things are dead. There's little to no strategy in Lost Kingdoms 90% of the time.
I wasn't sure if this kind of mixed it up a little, but...
I'm sure they wanted it to, but the fact remains that it's just still easier to just beat the crap out of everything and not care about what you're beating up. So this level's really cool because it gives us some free Dragon Knights, and Dragon Knights are one of my favorite cards in the game for a good reason. They are good from minute 1 to the final boss. Like, there is never a situation where you won't want an extra Dragon Knight. Oh, and this Red Fairy is explaining the concept of buffs. Just in case, you know, you've never played a game before.
Kind of like the environment, though. The environment with the music. It kind of works. Like,
It sort of does. It's like it's a weird, spooky town. So, that hand is, that's actually... Oh, get sniped. Managed to hit him across the field. Can I go for 2? Oh, no, damn it. Alright. So this hand is actually called a Hand of Pain, and it's one of 2 different hand enemies within the game. Just, I don't know, they're hands. They're literally hands with tapered ends that just walk around and flick you. That's their attack. There's nothing else.
I guess they figured, like, wall masters are really freaky and spooky, so maybe, like, a really big one will just mess your shit up bad.
Yeah, but the spooky part of wall masters is the fact that they drop down from the ceiling. This one just kind of walks on its fingers.
They can't get everything right.
Yeah, that's true. So this Red Fairy is talking geopolitical situations with us again. I really don't know how qualified they are to be doing that, but, I mean, this is the second one that was locked up in a chest that seemed to know what was going on in the world, so maybe they got something else that we don't know about.
This got Wi-Fi.
Oh, so that ostrich thing over there is a running bird. Running birds... Oh, get this, listen. It just died off screen to that Banshee shot.
Oh,
this really confuses me in a second as I see the magic crystals and wonder where they came from. Because I didn't even remember that my Banshee shot was fired, so I just thought it died on its own somehow. And one other thing I should mention, right before we got, about a minute ago, right before we put the herbs in that well, we got a kraken out of a gravestone. If you ever play through this game, you or anybody watching, I recommend you pick up the kraken, because it's the card I was mentioning earlier as one of my favorites. It's really, really powerful. The only disadvantage is a little bit of wind-up time on its attack, and the fact that it has a very strange range to it. It's almost like artillery in that it can't hit directly in front of you, but it will hit... I'm terrible at distances. Say like 10 feet in front of the protagonist. So we've already got 2 out of 4 wells. We need to actually break this crate to be able to get into here. So, start a fight. Can't break things out of fights. That's just not allowed. I was trying to break the crate with that crystal beam too, but it decided to fire at the dog, so... You know what?
Pretty heavy auto-targeting in the battle with range.
Yeah. I mean, it is appreciated. By the way, this is the Kraken.
Oh man!
It appears and summons a massive icy area about 10 to 15 feet in front of you. That icy area is one of the highest damaging things in the game, bar none. And it can hit multiple times, so if the enemy doesn't stagger easily, you can just beat the crap out of something with the Treant. Or the Kraken. We just beat a Treant. Also, we got a Hand of Pain, whose middle finger is turning into a skull and flying at the enemy because of reasons.
It looks really gross! It looks like extra gross!
Have my water hand. So, camera angles strive to make sure we can't see what's going on here, but we get a Tiger Mage, which... strangely enough, is exactly what it sounds like. It is both a tiger and a magician.
Sounds fucking awesome. That sounds great. Great,
what's better than a tiger? A tiger that can cast magic.
Oh, Lord.
I'll fund it. Put up tiger mages on Kickstarter. I'll get them. Oh my god, could you imagine? I will just, you go to the circus, all of a sudden, Tiger literally just hurls a magic missile into the crowd.
Oh, I was thinking more if it was in a circus, like, there's just a tiger and he's dancing around being a tiger, and then he just, like, says, "Is this your card?" And everyone in the crowd goes wild.
Jumps through hoops, somebody puts their head in the tiger's mouth and pulls a card off from the roof of its mouth, and it is the Ace of Spades.
How did he do it? I don't even know where he could hide things because I don't know tiger anatomy, as I am not a vet.
He doesn't even have thumbs. I don't get it.
This tiger's incredible.
How did he manage to shuffle the deck? Tiger Mages are actually sort of useful as a card too, because they will reduce the cost of any card you cast by half while they're on the field. So I figure, you know what, let's be impressive. So we'll summon the zombie dragon for the first time in this LP. I mean, hell, why not? We can just beat up a hand with a giant skeletal dragon. Unless the hand dodges. They can just walk out of the way of the dragon. It's really disappointing. Just like, I'm going to do a really impressive massive attack. No, you're not. Just use the Dragonite. It kills them both in one hit. That's kind of the problem with really powerful cards in this game, is that everything moves quickly. So you're never going to land a shot from them unless you're really lucky.
And there's no way to, like, really stun lock enemies or, like, lock them down.
There sort of is. There is an enemy a card that slows enemies, and there's another card that, when paired with the card that slows enemies, actually stops time briefly. This is never mentioned within the context of the game. And in the doghouse, we find a kitty trap. See, it's a cat in a doghouse. It's humor.
Video
Jokes.
games!
It's video games. And naturally, there's a card under this chair, so we can't just reach under the chair to get the card. We have to break the chair to be able to pick up the card from underneath it. So that's actually the only reason I got into a fight here. That and random encounters, but...
Our performance is being judged. Maybe maybe Gerd just really hates chairs.
Alright, my apprentice, I want to see how you handle bad carpentry.
Do you see my back piece? I can't sit down on that.
Kill it with a dragon knight. Well, it was sitting on top of another tiger mage, so now we have a whole act going. 2 separate magicians, both tigers, competing for the spotlight.
Oh man, this could get ugly, more so than 2 tigers fighting.
It's going to 2 tigers fighting with magic. Oh god. One tiger starts to lunge at the other one produces a dove from inside of its coat and it flies away and distracts him. So this is the last well, don't get it immediately, instead go over to this stump, because there's another red fairy hiding in here. Oh, and once you get all the runestones, you should go to the temple. What temple? I don't know. Fairy doesn't tell us. Just a temple. So, we toss all the herbs in here, and lo and behold, the level is complete. Warp back to start. And I actually managed to kill the perfect number of enemies to get a basilisk, so I don't need to transform to get that anymore. Also, you'd think the basilisks would be really awesome by the name alone, but they're just a water elemental lizard man that has a chance to turn the enemy to stone.
What?
So, it's not fantastic, but it's still a decent card. This is another level where there aren't any real official rewards. If you kill enough enemies, you will get a Mind Flayer, but I get 2 Sea Monks and a Running Bird just from beating the level, so I'll take it. It's not bad. Plus, I mean, we managed to 5-star it. Obviously, that's going to be impressive. Somehow. And we'll turn in our fairies. We only need 50 to get our next reward, so we just got a bunch. Surely we have 50 now, right?
Oh man, I didn't even notice you were kidnapping them. Oh, that's the pits.
Fuck. 1 away. Alright, fair enough. You win this round, Alexander, but we'll be back for that card. This guy is just withholding those cards, too. It's not like he couldn't just give them to us.
No.
So the next episode, we're going to head to the Burned-in Field. Where the path to... The hell is that word? Wicht. W-Y-H-T. Wicht.
Oh, you know, the fields.
The fields of... We're going through the fields of Burned-in to get to Wicht.
Not wheat. Wicht. It's fantasy wheat. Magic bread. For our mage tigers.
Magic bread for our mage tigers. Perfect. Next time on Lost Kingdoms, more magic, more fields, less white fog, more black fog, and regrettably no magic tigers. I'm sorry, I failed you.